All right, Coach. Coming in for the third edition of the Coach's Show this year. After the Poplarville, Biloxi comes in at 1-1 and coming off a loss. What was it 24-14 to Poplarville? A good Poplarville team.
Very good. Yeah, we knew going in Poplarville was going to be a good opponent, and I think they made us better for sure. Because there's some things that we didn't capitalize on that we think we can fix and be a better team because of it. And they were definitely a tough team, and we saw some positives on both ends of the ball. Really the main thing about the game was our offense really never got in rhythm, but our defense was on the field, couldn't get off the field, and we didn't have the ball enough on offense to be able to establish the rhythm. I thought, first half, offensively, I think we had 3 and out the first drive, and then after that, we gelled a little bit. We had a few drop balls that ended some drives at that particular time. They had one long drive on us that hurt us real bad. I think it was the second drive of the game. We did find out that especially in the second half, we could run the ball on them a little bit, and that was encouraging to see because they were very, very tough in the front seven. But they had to play too high on us because obviously we can throw the deep ball pretty well. But overall, there was a lot of positives, and we think that we're definitely a better team going into this week.
Yeah, I think it was a great opponent.
Yeah.
I noticed we struggled up the middle a little bit. We started hitting those little quick outs to the wide receivers, and then that kind of opened up the running game on the outside a little bit.
Yeah, getting them running side to side always helps. Obviously everybody's, those are human beings over there on the other defensive side. So when you get them moving side to side, it gets them a little winded, and it kind of gets them thinking about that. Obviously the number 7 for them was a really good player that we could have probably done a lot better. He knocked a lot of balls down. Big size that he had. He's a Mississippi State commit. He's a really, really good player. And they had a lot of them. I don't think it's going to get better than their 2 inside linebackers. I thought their secondary was as best as ever been. I think that was the best Poplarville team I've ever seen. And I was, at the end of the day, it's encouraging to know that we were right there. We could have won the game with a few things here and there that went differently. But at the end of the day, it's a non-division game that we feel like we got better off of.
Good deal. Yeah, the one other thing that you talked about, number 7, the other thing that stood out to me is that big running back they had. He was a stud.
Oh yeah, he's huge. He was huge.
A
He was very big. Their offensive line had some good size. They were just big all together. To be honest with you, real solid, big guys, thick. And I remember our team at the end of the game, we were in the locker room. A couple of offensive linemen told me, they said, "Coach, you won line. Them boys were big." And I was like, "Yeah, I told you they were going to be big." But I was like I said, not overly disappointed. I was disappointed in a few of the penalties we had. But at the end of the day, we looked at some of the pre-snap penalties we had on offense, and it's just really hard to tell what it was that they were calling. And those killed drives. You know what I mean? And so, you get a couple of those back, and maybe you're right there in the game.
So we had an off week this week.
Yep.
What do we do differently this week to prepare? I mean, how do you think it helped us from an injury standpoint to prepare for a Pearl team?
Definitely helped us because we, going against, and I knew this going in, going against those East Central and Poplarville both together. Those are 2 teams that really hit you in the mouth, too tough down. They're just out there really wanting to really get after you, to really put bodies on you all the time, from their receivers to their DBs to their linebackers. Both teams really want to get out there and hit. So we were a little banged up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Our defense was on the field both games, a lot of plays, so we had about 3 of those that we were really light on last week, and we were able to get them back on their feet. Offensively, we're fine. We've been down on plays on both games with them. But we did have 3, Ethan D'Amatos and RJ and Ratliff all. Had some bruises, but they're good to go now, and we look forward. We're pretty injury free at the moment, and we're blessed to be able to say that. I don't know if I've ever went to a 3rd game here that we didn't have a couple of guys out.
And don't curse yourself.
And so we definitely want to keep that going.
So we saw the wing T offense 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to see out of Pearl?
They're more 11 personnel, 3 wide, H-back in the game, like a H-back tight end. That's their main thing. A lot of RPO stuff, a lot of counters and powers, and the quarterback reading off of that, both of them. Defensively, you're going to see a lot of too high shell, they got 3 good D linemen, 1 really good D lineman, and Jeremy Johnson, number 99. He'll be right there in the middle. He was Defensive Player of the Year in their region last year, and so he's a really good player. Offensively, Jerry Johnson's the quarterback. The defensive guy, and I got to make sure I get that name right, Jeremy Jackson. See, it kind of goes together. Jeremy Jackson, 99, the defensive lineman. Jerry Johnson is the quarterback. He's a really good athlete. We picked him up in the Mississippi North-South All-Star game. He'll be back there at quarterback. Really good athlete, can throw it too. He's been inaccurate in 2 of the games. He's been very accurate in 1 of the games. So if he's accurate, it's gonna, it makes it more of a struggle. But he is a very good athlete. So we got to make sure we stop him.
They struggled against Gulfport. I know Gulfport ended up winning that game late in the game, but it looks like the last 2 games, probably against a little bit weaker opponents, they really rolled, put up some big numbers. I think they scored 50 in their last game.
Well, they turned the ball over against Gulfport is the main thing. They turned the ball over 3 times, I believe it was, against Gulfport. 1 time they drove the field, turned the ball over inside the 15-yard line or around that, or that game's probably different. You know what I mean? Turnovers can really kill you. So, and they've shown that they will continue to do that a little bit. So, and what we've had a problem with on defense is getting on balls that are on the ground. In both games we played, we've had balls on the ground, and so we got to get better at that this week if we get that opportunity. But yeah, I think Gulfport and them was a good game, and then they smacked Ridgeland, smacked Morton, obviously, to barely a 3A team. I think they're on right at a 3A level, and so they've been able to do that. But they're a very solid team,
So how does a bus ride 2.5 hours on a Friday differ from a regular home game or just a local game? How does that play into your game plan?
Well, it's going to be a lot different because our kids are getting out of school at 12 o'clock, coming over, getting things ready, hoping to get on the bus by 12:30, 12:45, and eating in Hasburg. So they're kind of getting this. It's a different feel. It's kind of a next level feel. It's going to be real cool for them. I don't know if our team, a lot of our kids, hadn't been north of Hattiesburg before, and this will be kind of cool for them to get to go to the Metro and play. And Pearl's got a great atmosphere with a great facility, great stadium, big jumbotron, all that type of stuff, and so it'd be good for them to kind of get around that field with the Metro teams and playing a team from the upper division that we could possibly see in the playoffs, and we definitely. It's different, but I think it'll be real fun, a good challenge for us, and we look forward to it.
Okay, so offensively, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but what's our offensive strategy going to be any different from what we've seen the first couple games, or do you think it's going to be a lot of the same, or do we not want to talk about that?
Our offense is our offense. We always add wrinkles. You're always going to add each and every game. You're always going to look at the defense. We look at them. We start coming in on Sunday. We film practice every day. Watch the film. We try to find weaknesses in their defense, just like they're going to look for in ours, and try to figure out ways to exploit that. But the system is the system. But you always want to try to find a wrinkle here, a wrinkle there. To try to get you to try to create an advantage. So,
well, let's just talk about the district a little bit. This is our last non-district game. Then we go into D'Iberville and then Harrison Central, 2 going to be really good opponents. Just kind of looking around the Central, around our district, Ocean Springs seems to be the offensive, kind of like a Pac-10 team. They got a huge offense, put up great points, but they're also giving up a lot of points. Mm-hmm. George County, obviously, a really good opponent last week. So, who do you think? I mean, just three weeks in, obviously we haven't a lot of really good opponents haven't been played by some of these people. But who do you see really being the leaders in the district, and how do you think we're going to fare this year?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to look past Pearl right now, to be honest with you. But obviously, I look at the scores and I see what's going on, and it's really hard to tell this early. You know what I mean? But obviously, you started with Ocean Springs, and I would say right now, if you're looking at it, that you're looking at they're the team to beat at the moment. I went and watched D'Iberville last week, and and they're going to be a very tough team again. They got a good defense. Their system's very well offensively because they overload you and try to create numbers and make it difficult for you to line up. Gulfport coming off, they played Escambia really, really tight, and then they go and lose to Picayune pretty heavily. And then we saw the Picayune Poplarville game when we were crossing film. Breaking down Poplarville, and Poplarville should have won that game. They turned the ball over inside their own 10-yard line. First drive of the game, and that game's probably a lot different. Which was it ended up being a 21-14 game. So you kind of look at that, and then so it'll be Harrison Central. You hadn't really seen what they have. They played two small schools. They've only played two games. They're off again this week. Don't really know there. So. It's hard to say at this point in the year. You guys got to take it 1 week at a time and go from there.
Yeah, I think the D'Iberville Picayune games will be real telling this week.
I think it will. Yeah, I think it will. I think it'll be a tough game, and Picayune's got a really good back over there. D'Iberville's got a really good back as well, and their front on offense is very well, doing very well and very well coached. So. Be very, very interesting to see. Absolutely.
Okay, so Elton and I are going to travel to Pearl, and so we will have the game aired on the NFHS network. I know last week we had some technical difficulties up in Poplarville. The Wi-Fi wasn't a great situation. I think we'll be in a
should be a little better this week.
I think we'll be in a better spot. But we're going to be coming to you live on the NFHS network, also on Indian Nation Radio. So, Coach, just final thoughts. What do you want to tell our Indian Nation?
I know it's a long way. To get to Pearl, but if you are able, we could very well use your support, and because they're going to have a lot of support there, and our kids need it and they deserve it. So if you can be there, and we really appreciate that. But so far, we've really appreciated the support that's been shown towards our team through the win and the loss, we hope that you continue to do so, and we very much appreciate you.
Thank you.